what do you think gives IIT Bombay an edge ahead of others this year in these world rankings?
So I think, there could be several issues. I can tell you that one is that if you look at the time for which the ranking was done, this is just after the end of the COVID lockdown over, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is the time many of the schools all over the world, they went through a lot of difficult times. Of course, we also did. But thanks to a strong support from our staff and faculty members, we could very quickly launch into the online education. We tried to do a lot of things and slowly open up with by maintaining all the possible the distance measure and everything. And because of that, you could, if you go back and just look at the performance of many other universities all over the world, we could strictly maintain the calendar, the academic calendar, so that none of our students are inconvenienced. That is, so these are the ones that adds up to the value system that you create for the next generation of students and the others, that it creates. Secondly, I think this is the time when I would say the many places the labs were closed. What happened is that we tried to open it up first to the PhD students, then the master students, and the faculty members were also there. They were just like rotating based on the time schedule, and they could get. And since everything else was not there, you couldn't even go to a movie or anything. So
Right,
what they
right.
do is that they use the time to become more productive, writing papers or filing patents. I can tell you, during the time, IIT Bombay filed a lot more patents than no in any other years. Similarly,
Oh.
they published, our faculty members along with the students, they published a lot more papers during this time, and many of them are in a very top level, of the venues. So what happened? This adds up in terms of the quantifying the performance these ranking agencies do, either in terms of the quality of publication or the
Mhm.
citations, what we commonly call it.
Right,
So
right.
because you are in a high impact factor journal, so naturally the proposition that IIT Bombay is a good research institution, is a wholesome place, that goes up. Okay, and I think that really helped.
I see, sir. Also, sir, how important are international rankings to you and maybe to an institute in India of repute of an IIT, given that they have different parameters, of course, from the rankings that we have at home. So, also only a few institutions make it to top 150 or top 200. Others don't even make it. So, can you explain a bit on this?
See, frankly speaking, I should say that any good institution, any good university, they should not worry about ranking. Okay, because ranking, basically they measure you what those people who are in the ranking agency they want to measure, and some of the
Mm-hmm.
yardsticks may be completely meaningless for us. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
so this is one way, but what the thing that is important for any university or academic higher education institution is that we should do what we should be doing and do it well. Do it to the extent that it makes an impact, either research, whether it's an entrepreneurship, or like let's say you are creating, with a kind of an ecosystem with the existing industry, or it is purely teaching, like teaching undergraduates. So these are our primary jobs, and we should be doing well. I think that should be the first principle. Now, while doing it, if you do get a good score in your ranking, well, good. Okay, be happy with it. If
Mm-hmm.
not, but if you are still getting, like you are doing well, and generally you see that, there are other ways of measuring how you are standing up. And if you're doing well, but you are not getting a good rank, I think you should be happy in that case also, right? So,
I
what
see.
I mean to say is that ranking is just something that others are doing, but it could be a good byproduct because of good work you are getting it, but that's not the goal by itself. No, it should never be. Okay.
I see, sir. I see. So, the rankings, you mentioned it rightly that it's just part of the ongoing process for any institute. But then it also highlights, that India, and it means the institutes which have made it to the top, lags in certain indicators like, international faculty ratio, student ratio, and even the international research network indicator. So, what do you have to say about this?
First of all, you do our exercise, right? I tell you. So, these are the three cases we almost got zero, if you notice it, right? So that adds to 15 points, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
supposing you remove 15 points from everybody, okay? Now you see where IIT Bombay is, and many of our other sister organizations, like let's say IISc or IIT Madras
Right.
or some other agencies are there. You will see a drastic change. They will go to the top 70, top 80. Okay. You will see you just add 15 because we all got zero out of that. Okay. So the question is, should we be concerned about those factors? Okay.
Right, right.
My answer to that is that that exercise in the Indian context is completely meaningless. Okay. And I tell you what, because what is it that they are trying to measure? They're trying to measure through those parameters the diversity in your institution. Now, if there is a way to measure the way these ranking agencies do, they just look at the color of your passport, right? What passport you hold, right? But for us, if you look at in India, it itself is a big country with so much of diversity, right?
Too much.
We have
Right.
more diversity than actually in Europe or somewhere else, right? And in that particular case, I think also another thing is that what they should not be doing, okay, is that let's say in US, many of the places, the people come from all over the world, okay, and they let's say even some of them could be from a large number, could be China or India, being their faculty members, okay, or students. Now, let's say when you do the faculty members in your stream, let's say in IIT Bombay, what kind of faculty members do you want? You want academic diversity, not like your passport related, the diversity. So if you see that, like your faculty members, they get degrees from so many places. Somebody could be from US, somebody could be from Belgium, somebody could be from, completely Australia, different places. Now that, in my opinion, that counts more than the color of your passport. Okay. And this is where I think all IIT systems, or even any major Indian institution, can do very well. Okay, because we have people from I can give you, like in out of 700 odd faculty members that we have. I mean, we span every corner of India. Okay, we have people from Arunachal, we have people from Manipur, we have people from Kerala, we have people from Kashmir, Gujarat. So what else? What other diversity that you want, right?
Okay. So we do
So
have a lot of regional diversity already. That's what you're
that
saying.
is a regional, is a cultural,
Culture.
linguistic, what else? Of course, everything,
I
right?
see. I see. So are we making any conscious effort to get foreign faculty in the IIT system?
See, there are sometimes young faculty members who are little adventurous from different places, and if they want to come, they're most welcome. And we are, of course, we try to ensure that we are able to get them. Okay, but you have to look at the reason why somebody, let's say from a Western country, should spend their time in, let's say, India. Okay. Now look at it. You earn and whatever you do in India, and of course that gives a good, your let's say post-retirement life. Okay, with the
Right.
savings that you make. Now imagine the same person. They are not going to settle down here because we won't probably even give them citizenship. All right. So they go back to their country at the end of their career, and this saving that they do, would that be good enough for them to live a life after their, retirement? So you have to look at the practicality of the situation. So, but of course, there could be other countries where people could be interested in coming because there is a financial level, I think probably we are at the equal terms. You may see people from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, or those who are of similar, kind of stature. I think they would be happy to come. Okay, but you will not get somebody, normally from the Western countries where there is or maybe Japan or somewhere else. Okay, where
Mhm.
there is a large disparity in income, I think exists.
So that's because they are paid much more higher, and the way like they're much more developed to host that kind of. We cannot do that in India, right?
No, no, because it's just basically the financial. If you look at the living,
Financial,
the median income in our
right?
countries and over there, there's a big difference, right? So
So that is
hopefully, maybe in another 10 years, 20 years, when 2047, we are hoping that we'll be like an advanced
right.
country, and when that happens as a developed country, probably this issue is will be non-existent. But now, yes, at this point, it is definitely an issue.
I see that, sir. So also about research, since it says about research, so I have two questions. So we do lack in the international research network indicator, plus research in IISc still did better in terms of research, like even before. And none of the IITs have matched up to that level, also not IIT Bombay. And second, even the NIRF rankings report highlighted that the good quality research, or a lot of research is not exactly happening, and whatever research is happening is also limited to a very few top institutions in the country. So it has to expand, which is not happening at that kind of pace. So what is the reason for this, and how are we moving towards it? Is it
See,
important? Yeah.
yes, of course. See, the thing is, technology is moving at such a fast pace. So we
Mhm.
have to, make sure that we walk along that, so we have to keep pace with that. Now, the question is, when you do that, today's research, it needs, a lot of things, like, for example, very, very sophisticated equipment. Okay. And these equipments are quite expensive. Okay. So it's not always, we know some of us like IISc, IITs, we are, thankful to the government for their strong support that they have been doing. And we are able to get many of them. Okay. Now, if it is there, then only you can actually, produce research which you can compete internationally, right? Now, many of these other places that you talk about, universities and other places, private organized, institutions, they are not able to provide that kind of, the support. So naturally, you see that the kind of research that happens are restricted to, few places. Of course, it's not only the IIT, IISc. There are a lot of other good places, like cultivation of science is one very good place. JNCSR is an excellent place. There are other, TIFR and many other places. There are excellent research going on. It's not only that, we claim that we are the only one. No, there are a lot of good research going on all over the places. But the number of institutions getting into that is less because of many such reasons, right? And I tell you, I give you an example. What is the budget of, let's say, IIT Bombay, or any of the IITs compared to something like MIT? That's a first ranker in your list. And
Yes, always, yeah.
so they're about $4 billion. You're talking about $4 billion of their budget, annual budget. And what is IIT Bombay's budget? $150 million, right? Even
That's
less
like,
than that.
yeah.
Okay. So you can see the difference, right? So, and good research is not cheap. Okay. You need to invest time, money, infrastructure, and people. I think you need all of them. Then only you see, okay, that it will keep on improving. And that's, it is, the India, I think the ecosystem is getting created over the years, and we do see a lot of improvements. And I'm sure that a lot of good things will keep coming in the coming years, right?
So are many students wanting to go into research, or is there a challenge there also?
Uh, let's put it like this. See now, okay. See, earlier there used to be like two options. Either you go for higher studies and you do something, there, or you go for some jobs, or a few of them earlier also they were doing entrepreneurship and others. But nowadays the opportunities are really, uh, I think quite astounding amount of opportunities that exist for the current, yeah, younger generation who graduate. Okay. And they are quite ambitious, and they're willing to experiment. I think that's one thing is very important, right? These people who graduate, they are actually willing to do experiment, take risk, and do something which others have not done that. Okay. So because of that, it's not necessary that they will do only what you think, like, oh, go straight for a job, or go for, like a, so I would say the path traditionally traveled, right? So they are doing many other things. And because of that, not necessarily that a large number of students are going for research. So for example, it's often said that a large number of people from IITs are going abroad. I can tell you the number for IIT Bombay. It's not more than 5% for higher studies. Okay. At one time, we were actually in the month of December, we were like so tired of writing reference letter for our students. We're writing for many, many students. Nowadays, we don't, very few. Okay. Because they want to explore. There are opportunities in India. Okay. So the after graduation, many of them stay back where they want to set up their companies. They want to try, maybe they want to go for management, or they want to go for fintech. They want to do something, whatever, you know. So there are opportunities, and that's actually is a good thing, right? So that is fine, so that you can try your own, whatever you think is good for you.
So you're saying that they're getting into different options, like start opening their own startup or experimenting with other things, and not necessarily going into research directly as it would
Absolutely.
happen conventionally. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So this prompts another question that uh, most most IITs are many IITs nowadays are launching full-fledged programs in AI, like full-fledged BTech programs in AI and data science and other emerging technologies. So AI is coming up as a full-fledged discipline in itself, which it used to be as a part of computer science engineering, like over the past few years. So, is there a plan for IIT Bombay also to in this direction? One, and second, sir, is it taking the number of people who are opting for computer science and these emerging technologies more, which is taking more students away from the core engineering disciplines? So
Okay.
these are
Good.
these
So
are
you
two
have asked two
questions.
questions. Okay.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
different questions. But first of all, whether we should be doing a BTech in data science and this one. See, you need to understand that typically the way, in my opinion, I could be, somebody could always tell me, no, I'm not correct. Okay. But my personal understanding over so many years of being in higher education, that at the undergraduate level, we should not be over specializing. What you need to develop is a core competence, okay, in areas which can take you to whichever direction you want. Okay. Because when you are young, okay, at that level, at the 16 years, 17 years, you may not even know what is data science or AI. Okay.
Okay.
So you should go for fundamentals, and many of the things, these are evolve. See, classically, every time, let's say, what is today computer science was not there probably, 40 years ago, right? When you were students or something, 50 years ago. It evolved and it has standardized over time. So with time, everything evolves. So what is happening is an evolving area that involves things like statistics, programming, computer science, and many other applications, right? So, what, in my opinion, is good to go for something like computer science or electrical or some other engineering, where you create make a strong base of fundamentals in statistics, optimization theory, and many other allied areas. And then what happens is that it's very easy. I can do a minor in data science, okay, or I can do something like a master's on that, right? then what happens? Then by the time you have an understanding that what part of the data science is something that I would like to do it. For example,
Right.
in IIT Bombay, we have created a center called C-Minds, Center for Machine Intelligence and Data Science, right? It has been funded by many of our alumni. And the key idea is that, we will of course provide a master's in that, but at the same time, what we do is that our undergraduates can do a minor in that, or
Mm-hmm.
our, the students in maybe mechanical engineering, they want to do masters in data science. So we allow them to move, to, it's also part of the NEP that you can actually do, in one stream as a bachelor's and you go masters at that level. And this, I tell you, this center has about 60 to 70 faculty members spanning across all departments, right? So I would say that probably, I know there are some of the IITs and many other places they do undergraduate, but if I am the director and if I have to take a call, I would say that let's wait for a few more years. It's still not, it's premature to move these people. It happened earlier. Many people jumped into, something like IT earlier, and
I
IIT Bombay also started, and then we closed it. Maybe remember that you have a master's in IT, because we realize that what is important in a good education are fundamentals, and then you spend in the classical fundamental areas. Rest of them will come. You know, you have a strong foundation, and you just need to build what you want to build. That's all. So that's your first question. Now
So,
the
okay. So
second,
that means IIT Bombay
sorry,
is not exactly moving towards this. Okay.
undergraduate like a BTech degree as of now. Okay,
No, okay.
maybe few years is possible. Yes. Okay, but as of now, yes. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
second question that you asked, this is, uh, let me recollect. Okay, this is more on your, what was that question about again? So,
So the
sorry.
question was about that, more people taking computer science engineering and then now AI and other technologies at the undergraduate level.
Oh, the
It's
core
taking
part.
more, yeah, students away from core engineering disciplines. So it's
Okay,
getting
so,
lesser and lesser. Yeah.
okay, let me counter ask a tougher question to you. What do you mean by core engineering?
So
Okay.
the conventional disciplines that there it used to be, civil, electrical, mechanical. So maybe I do
So
not
okay, then,
understand so much, but
okay, so then even I can go one step backward, right? What is engineering? Okay, so even I go to that level. See, the thing is, engineering is applying science or whatever the knowledge about science for doing something for our benefit, okay, for making our life a lot more comfortable, right?
right.
Now, that's basically the fundamental things that we do. And also, you have to realize that when you plan something, you design something, you make something, it's supposed to work in an environment that is imperfect. Okay, if you want to have a car, you design a good car, but you know that road will not be always the same. There would be like a lot of potholes like now in monsoon time. So it
Right.
should still do well. It should not break down, and make it robust, make it reliable. These are some of the challenges. It should be fuel efficient. So these are things that actually make engineering as a very interesting discipline. Now, the question that you are asking now, coming to that, is that what is the solution that you're providing, right? So, if you say that I'm looking at purely at some point mechanical engineer, they were looking at internal combustion engine, which is actually the core of, let's say, any of the, the petrol or diesel engine, right? That kind of the fuel based engine. Now, if you look at it with the EV, okay, it is not part of it anymore, right? So things change, right? So even the concept of core changes, right? So what we are finally required is that things are becoming more interdisciplinary, okay? Knowing in one area may not be enough to finally make a product. So you want to have people who have a strong foundation. They can learn laterally from other areas, or you tie them up with other group of experts and let them come up with this. So in this particular case, many of them are now automated. Many production units, if you go to a big, let's say, petrol refinery, it's all automated. right? You look at semiconductor industry, how the entire process control happens. There's so much of automation there. Okay, because not only that, it's very sophisticated. Even manual, you may not be able to do it. So if that happens, it requires different type of skill set, and these skill sets sometimes is misunderstood by common people, saying that, oh, they are not in the core area. So when you are not able to define what is a core, okay, what is the point in saying that you are not core? And finally, tell me that, if somebody, that what is our job as a teacher is to ensure that good students come out with a strong foundation, good analytical skill. Okay. After that, what they do is their choice. Each student that they come out, when they come to IIT, they come with a dream. Okay. And our job is to ensure that we put proper fuel into driving their dream engine, right? What is their dream? Where they want to fly is their choice. And we should never do that, because otherwise you are killing innovation. You never know, new areas get developed. That's how it gets developed. This is how the human progress. So these are good people. We have to provide them the opportunity to experiment, doing something new. And in the process, they create a lot of new jobs. Okay. They create wealth for the nation. Okay. And so many things that happens, it's a lot of good things. And that's why we should never be forcing, saying, oh, you are a mechanical engineer, you have to go to a mechanical this thing, or you are an electrical engineer, go and be only in the power industry. No, that's not what we should ever do it. If somebody wants to do it, sure, that's most welcome, because that's where he derives the pleasure, right? I hope I'm clear on that.
Sir, I do get it, but this prompts another question, if you may please wish to answer. Sir, you said the concept of core is changing. It's a very important insight for, at least for me, into, how tech is changing in the times we are living today. So with this, I just want to ask, are these nomenclatures of different disciplines, are these also changing within the IIT systems, or are they set to change, or are we moving in that direction, or or is it okay, I mean, even if it doesn't happen like that? That's
See
what I
what
want.
happens. See, what happens is that there are two kinds of things. Sometimes out of necessity, and when you have a large number of people from diverse group, you want to bring them together to form certain new core. Okay. Then we can actually form a new department where new undergraduate or postgraduate studies. Okay. For example, we created, okay, the environment science and engineering. We provide an undergraduate degree, right? Which was probably not there many, 10, 15 years ago, right? Because sustainability is very important today's thing. They should know this one, and that needs people from chemistry background, they need from chemical engineering, they need electrical, they need like different kind of IoT services, they need computer science, they need all kind of things. We put them together. Okay. Now, if you are at the same time, you cannot constantly keep on playing with the departments and all. So there are also classical departments, right? So let's say, for example, mechanical engineering department. Okay. Now, mechanical department, when you are talking within that, there could be like a manufacturing, it's one sub-discipline within that, because the manufacture, we want, if you know that China was doing very well all the time, and India is pushing for it. Okay. And we should definitely help. So what would happen is that within this, we have advanced manufacturing technique. So this becomes more modern way of doing things. Okay. Earlier, you have used like a big lathe machines. Now we have a tabletop lathe machines, which is numerically controlled. You can design things almost sitting on the table, right? So these
Right.
are the advantages of this, subject, and we should train the future generation to make use of them, so that they can come up with something even better during their lifetime. So that's how the field advances, right? So we'll
I
continue. That's our goal, and we should keep doing and helping. Okay.
I see, sir. So just two more questions. One is about the lack of trained faculty, which has been pointed out by, at different points of time, and every year there is there's a lot of vacancy in the faculty positions, which across IITs, it's not just one institution. So what is the reason for that, and how important a concern is this?
No, I think let's look at a little bit in a more holistic way. Okay, see, when you hire somebody as a faculty member, right? What are you hiring? Okay, somebody who could be with you for 35, 40 years. Okay, and by the time there will be a lot of change in technology, and also the person that you are joining, a young person. Okay, he or she is equally aspirational, right? So in that case, I'll have to ensure the day he or she joins IIT, I have to provide proper laboratory, equipment support, because each one comes with their own specialization, right? So each one is different. Sometimes people think it's like, I can suddenly hire 30 faculty members by giving a written test and all. That's not how you hire faculty members, right? Each one is a different breed altogether, and they have to be tested on that ground. So once you do it, it is our responsibility as the administrator to provide them the best kind of facilities so that they bring their particular expertise gets utilized. New students go and get trained there. Now, if I hire suddenly too many of them, even if they are available, right? I'll not be able to provide the way the thing to be filled up, because there is always infrastructural demand. Okay, so in that case, by hiring them, I am killing the potential of one faculty members. Okay, so we should plan properly, that how many you can take it, so that it matches with your growth plan. And also you should realize that when you are in the technology area, things change too fast. I don't want to fill up all my positions, right? Because tomorrow there is a new area will come. I need that vacancy for somebody to be accommodated in that. So all these are very important, is a part of the vision or the strategy of the institute, right? So
I
this is
see.
what we try to follow. It's not just there is, if you feel, it's not just feeling another teacher. You are actually putting in laboratory, a particular expert professor, their career at stake, and along with that, a number of students who would be trained by this particular faculty. So when it is properly planned, they end up doing wonderfully well. And so far, I tell you, even in that case, we hire roughly 40 odd faculty members every year. That's pretty large number. Even if at the international level, you can check. Okay, it's a fairly large number. We have 700 odd faculty members.
Oh, so but is there a lack at any level? Is there a lack at any level also? I mean,
Lack
or
means
are
what?
they just, so is there a lack of faculty with research or doctorates? Is there a lack of people coming out, enough people to fill up those positions? That's what I wanted to
See,
ask also.
it's there because see what happens sometimes you have to understand that over the years, very recently we have jacked up the number of PhD students. Earlier, the number of PhD students were very few because the opportunities were not there for these PhD students, right? So now, let's say, for example, IIT Bombay last year produced 449 PhD students. It's like a record, right? So what
Last year.
happens? These are the yeah. So what happened in the last convocation? So what it means is that we are creating the manpower who will fill up these positions tomorrow. So there is always this little delay involved because you have to create the manpower, right? So this manpower gets slowly created, and they will get absorbed into the system. This is how I was created so many years ago. And similarly, so many other new faculty members, our time were created like this. So if they have to deliver, we have to create. They will not come from the sky, right? So all IITs, IISc, many other places, they produce excellent PhDs, and these are the ones we'll have to gradually get absorbed into the system. It takes time, but it will happen.
I see. So my last question is that post-pandemic, we've seen that there are issues of mental health across IIT campuses, and with students taking the extreme step. And though there are so many mechanisms that have been put into it, which were already there earlier also, but do we need to strengthen the system, or are we equipped enough to handle or prevent this number from happening this way?
So I think you have to go and you have to analyze the reason why it is happening. See, earlier what happens when you have a system working pipeline, let's say for example, uh, if you have ever seen, like a siphon, how you drain out something, a fluid from something, you was a siphon. Have you seen that? Right? Let's say you have a pipe, you take a water from somewhere, you have to take it out, right? So when the flow is there already, okay, things move very smoothly. But supposing for some reason the flow stops, I have to restart the process. Okay.
Right.
So what had happened during the COVID time, before COVID time, let's put it like this. So there is a continuum of journey of students who are coming, at the first year level, and there were senior, second year, third year, fourth year, who are trained into being in an IIT environment, which is also demands quite a bit from the students, right? So they come to know, they have gone through their class 12, whatever level, they've, at different places. They get slowly adjusted to the system and then ended up doing very well. Okay. Of course, there were occasional difficulties, but it was not so much. Now, what
Right.
the COVID created this one? It created in the system a discontinuity. Okay. Suddenly, you find these things are closed. We have had students coming in who were locked up in their room for 2 years. They never had any interaction. And by the time they come here, they do not have anybody to look after because, there is no gap. There is no like a, top to down mentorship of students to the next level because which was natural, in the sports ground, you do, somewhere coffee shop. So this started, that there was a disconnect. So this created a difficulty in terms of having some of the students, not able to cope up with this new change in thing, new demand of the IIT system, and that actually aggravates their mental well-being. So we understand that. So we have now jacked up by all our resources to see that they can be helped. But in this area, what is required is that, when you have a upset, I know I am sick. I have to seek a medical help to a doctor. But sometimes when you are not doing well, particularly on the depression or others, okay, the key problem with this is that the person suddenly doesn't come to the rest of the places, right? And there is a seclusion. And what happens? We miss out from providing the help. So we try to create a system so that they can be identified, they can be tagged. Yes, this person needs help. So we have to take them to the wellness center. We have to take them to the doctor. So we are trying, we're creating a system, okay, so that they can be helped. So once that happens, I'm sure with time, again, the whatever the discontinuity in the process got set in, I'm sure at some point it'll get removed. And when that happens, things should a lot more improve. But this is the fluid period when we are actually handling the discontinuity into the system. Okay. So I think we should gradually improve and hopefully things will definitely improve.
I see, sir. So thank you so much for your time and your very important insights into the current system. And thank you so much